Report maps out flaws in voluntary land process. First volunteer policy launched. And candidates want answers from Electoral Commission.
This is National EMTV News with Dennis Orere.
Hello and welcome. This is Friday's news. Studies done by the National Research Institute have mapped out flaws in the voluntary land registration process that hinders landowners from taking full advantage of their land. The NRI says one of the biggest impediments is the clarity of the process and the cost of surveying land. They've also identified that the administrating process in the National Lands Office needs to be streamlined and some functions decentralized to the provincial governments.
The voluntary customary land registration system was created to get landowners to register their land. It's a process that gives their customary land visibility and a legal bankable title, according to those who designed the system. But since it was implemented, few landowner groups have really used it. And according to the National Research Institute, there are several problems with the current process of customary land registration. At the top of the list, the system is not well understood by landowner groups, and the cost of surveying is too expensive.
Reasons being such concerns around time involved and the cost involved, as well as concerns around the way land is administered by the department at present.
The NRI has recommended a further decentralization of the customary land registration process. In its current form, landowners have to come to Port Moresby from all over the country to have their lands registered. And they're saying the registration and the land records should be easily accessible from the provinces and, if possible, from the districts.
It's improving the titling system, it's improving the record system, it's improving the customer relations, how the department is organized in such a way that it is able to facilitate in an effective and efficient manner when landowners go to apply for the ILG as well as the land tax. It's also about streamlining the process so that the provinces are speaking to the headquarters here in Port Moresby. The districts know what's happening at the province, but also what's happening at the headquarters here in Port.
The sticking point has long been the management of land in Papua New Guinea. Over the years, the Lands Department has been investigated over irregularities in the issuing of titles. And while there have been improvements, some of those problems linger. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lae.
With the expiry date of vaccines nearing, Prime Minister James Marape urged the public to come forward for a jab. PM Marape says the government aims to order up to 1 million AstraZeneca vaccines. He says liaison with the World Health Organization and donor partners, including China, are progressing for more availability of suitable vaccines for the country to use.
The Prime Minister got his second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine yesterday, including Police Commissioner David Manning and other senior officials. Marape spoke highly of the approach government and relevant authorities like the World Health Organization are pushing for the vaccination program. He says the bottom line is to protect lives and embrace measures against the pandemic.
And our COVAX facility partners who've been supporting us to mobilize vaccine. We have over 100,000 doses that are still in our storage areas. Our people need to be vaccinated. If you vaccine available and you don't get yourself vaccinated and you fell sick, you die maybe in the small percentage, God forbid, but if that happens, then you have yourself to blame if government is doing everything possible to make vaccines available and you do not want to get yourself vaccinated.
With recent concerns of the expiry date of vaccines, the top government official says when it's available, people must take it. He says by now most frontliners and essential workers must have got a jab. The Prime Minister says more talks are ongoing to order more vaccines.
The strategy will be rolled out very soon, and as we have more vaccines coming in. As I did indicate earlier, we under our program, we are envisaging to mobilize at least up to 1 million vaccines of different combinations.
Despite putting more emphasis on the vaccine, the Prime Minister also acknowledged the decision by the public not to be vaccinated. However, says other protection measures must be followed.
If you don't want to get yourself vaccinated, you stand exposed, but I ask you all, remain isolated yourself. Self-disciplined, self-isolated. Wear your mask at all times. Do hand sanitation. Keep yourself practicing the nucleopacin. And hopefully in that process, we do not stop our country and economy from functioning, but we live with it.
Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
Prime Minister James Marape has launched the National Policy on Professional Volunteerism 2020 to 2025. The policy reflects the government's commitment to using skilled human resources to contribute to development, especially in rural areas. The policy was developed by the National Volunteer Services of Papua New Guinea, and it is the first of its kind in the country.
Prime Minister,
The National Policy on Professional Volunteerism was officially launched yesterday by Prime Minister James Marape and Defence Minister Solan Mirisim. This policy platform will guide all efforts pertaining to service delivery based on principles of sacrifice and service. It paves way for all volunteers to be able to develop shared vision in implementing the strategic directives of the national policy.
National policy on the professional volunteerism, whilst it is for those who are professionals to be volunteer, I point already in my speech to those who are unengaged youths out there. We will set up an officer in your district, a coordinating point in your provinces for the volunteers.
The development of this first ever policy is a strategic drive to release the full potential of the National Volunteer Services, and its vision is to empower people to be self-reliant and have improved living standards. It is about using the skilled, technical and professional people who are readily available in communities to serve the people. The policy creates an avenue for facilitating professional and technical services of skilled Papua New Guinean to contribute to nation building, and it will support priority sectors at sub-national levels.
And so let us all mobilize our talents and time. And if you are looking for a place to invest your talent and time, well, I've now subscribed to National Volunteer Services. I ask Papua New Guineans to look at this, and we will coordinate better, and your time, talent, energy can be there to serve your people.
The National Volunteer Services will oversee the coordination and implementation of this policy. They will be working in partnership with all stakeholders and development partners in aligning all volunteer programs. There will be biannual and 5-year review of this policy to ensure its goals and vision is achieved and the true spirit of volunteerism continues to be upheld. Rayon Lakingu, National EMTV News.
Chief Commissioner for PNG Customs, David Towe, says the trading watchdog organization has increased penalty provisions and ramped up on its investigations and intelligence efforts. PNG Customs is also imposing tougher penalties in addition to prosecution. Yesterday, PNG Customs revealed a case of an importer that attempted to smuggle cargo into the country, which was found to be non-compliant after the container went through the new container examination facility at Motucare recently. After the importer declared to a value of over 40,000 kina in import duty, it was eventually valued by PNG Customs at over 1 million kina. As a result, the importer will pay a penalty fine of over 2 million kina. The goods found in the container were also not the ones mentioned in the declaration, where water and soft drinks were declared, but alcoholic products were eventually found. This is part of PNG Customs' ramped-up measures in its role to facilitate trade on the borders of PNG, as well as applying control measures.
When we facilitate trade, we also control. So it's about maintaining that balance between facilitation and control. We don't want to do too much of facilitation and lose control. We don't want to do too much of control and hold up trade.
Conducting effective investigations and utilizing its intelligence efforts in the strongest possible terms has been a challenge for PNG Customs in yesteryears, but this has now been strengthened, particularly through the new container examination facility at Motucare.
So I want to appeal to every importer out there that Customs has increased the penalty provisions, and we have also ramped up on our compliance and investigations, intelligence efforts. We are a risk-based, intelligence-led organization. We try to utilize our limited resources as much as possible by applying intelligence-led interventions.
PNG Customs has plans to establish another container examination facility in Ley Morobe province to apply control measures and facilitation of trade there, given the city's industrial nature. Director of Compliance for the Southern Region, Ngamini Ora, appeals to the trading community to comply with customs laws that are in place, as the law will still catch up with them if they do not comply.
So it is our appeal out there to those that are in the trading community and trying to indulge or have indulged in illegal activities, that the law will catch up with you one day, and PNG Customs is imposing hefty penalties, and that is in addition to prosecution as well. So we urge importers to be wary of their obligations and consult the customs officers at the respective ports if you are unaware of certain information.
You're watching National MTV News. More stories after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. A number of candidates contesting the Moresby Northwest by-election are concerned over the tactics used by the National Electoral Commission. Candidates say a number of concerns have been raised by their scrutineers. Among the obvious priority areas of concern is the different counting venues, change in police officers, and safety of ballot boxes. 3 of the top 5 candidates held a news conference yesterday to express their concerns.
There are many issues. As candidates, we had asked for one central counting location, which would have really helped, I think, both parties, the Electoral Commission and us as candidates. But at this stage, it's in 4 different locations. We all are struggling in Ward 1, trying to get our scrutineers in there. And, you know, all our scrutineers are coming up with, telling us a lot of issues that are affecting them right now.
It is incumbent on the Electoral Commissioner to do the right thing. Protect the interests of Papua New Guinea. And stop this corruption in the Electoral Commission. I am getting sick and tired of seeing corruption everywhere. We're going to fight corruption. Begin the process now. Stop it now.
8 new vehicles were presented to the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary today in Port Moresby. Police Commissioner David Manning received this new fleet on behalf of the East Sepik Command. This was made possible through the Kina for Kina Refleeting Scheme initiative.
These 8 new police vehicles will be given to the police in East Sepik. Receiving the vehicles today was Police Commissioner David Manning. Manning says safety and security is a priority, and this refleeting is an innovative way to deliver policing services.
It has become more and more important to have a visible presence in the provinces, to have the ability to attend to complaints, to have the ability for our members of the force around the country to be able to provide an effective response to any law and order situation in the country.
Manning says the vehicle should be used for the right purpose once it is shipped to East Sepik. The fleet hopes to address logistics support and the slow police response to incidents in the province.
And it should be operated consistent with that spirit and that intent, and that it is supposed to be. Its sole purpose is to provide a policing service for the people of East Sepik and its communities.
East Sepik Police now becomes the 3rd province to receive the Nissan patrol vehicle under the Kina for Kina scheme. Podivai, National MTV News.
New Power Limited, a power company headquartered along the road to the PNG LNG plant site, within the vicinity of affected villages has been donating books to school children in the area over recent weeks. Last week, the company donated a variety of books to school children in Boira and Lealea. Boira and Lealea primary school teachers and students were proud recipients of books last week. New Power Limited, in partnership with Book Belong Pikinini, delivered the book donation program to the schools. As part of New Power's community investment program under education support, similar donations have also been made to primary schools in Porebada, Papa and Kido villages, which are located in the Kairuku Hiri electorate. A total of 1,000 books have been donated in the 5 primary schools in each village. The books consist of teachers' resource or reference books, encyclopedia and children's reading books. NCD Governor Powes Pakop and member for Mosby South, Justin Kachenko, escorted the body of former Commissioner of the National Capital District, Augeria Kilamani, to his final resting place in his home on Fisherman's Island yesterday. Augeria worked with NCDC for 14 years before his passing. He was also instrumental in the building of the Koki Fish Market.
Yesterday was the last farewell by former colleagues of one of the longest-serving commissioners of the National Capital District Commission, the late Augeria Kilamani. His body was taken from the funeral home to the fish market, where he was ferried across the sea to his final resting place, Fisherman Island. His body was escorted by members of NCDC and his friends and family. Also present was Governor for NCD Powes Pakop and member for Mosby South Justin Kachenko, who were both former colleagues of late Augeria. Justin Kachenko was sentimental as he paid his tribute.
So we've lost a great leader of Fisherman Island, Mokele. We've lost a great leader.
Serving the commission for 14 years, the late Augeria also helped to make the fish market at Koki a reality.
One special project that you are all benefiting from right now, and that is the new fish market. Augeria was a part of that because he helped approve the funding with the governor. He helped approve the concept that the governor put forward to us.
NCD Governor Powes Pakop hailed Augeria's humble character and his willingness to serve.
Commissioner, he never asked me to help him with his house, or buying a hot boat motor for himself, or buy a generator for himself, even SPO. He never asked me anything like that. All he asked is, help my church, help my school, buy dinghy, housing materials, outboard motor for all our people here in Fisherman Island, Mokele.
Governor Pakop, seeing Augeria's humble living standard, pledged 60,000 kina to build him a house and 25,000 kina for the community. Late Augeria was laid to rest today at Fisherman Island. Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV News.
Ken Dumundi is the owner of a road construction company in Goroka who is now in the business of helping coffee farmers as a licensed coffee operator. He built the coffee factory in 2017 and was granted a license by the Coffee Industry Corporation in 2018 to process coffee. Since he started operating, coffee farmers from across the province have been selling their coffee as well as processing their own at the establishment.
Las Malo Coffee Factory is located in Goroka, Eastern Islands Province. The factory has a processing mill that processes coffee parchments. It serves small coffee farmers and suppliers from the 8 districts of Eastern Islands to sell to exporters in Goroka. Factory owner Ken Dumundi said he switched from road construction business to coffee in 2018 because he realized the need of small coffee farmers to process coffee.
Inside the Eastern Islands, we plant coffee. Na all planting man, all planting coffee na, all like him good pla benefit lo coffee. So lo deslas me tintin gona me to me mas working factory, lo help him on legally man lo place. Also so me work him na legally man lo place kisim Ligilik begi kami sa processing, help him on also go salim like exporters.
Ruben Ila is a coffee farmer from Lufa district. He has 2 hectares of coffee. He is one of the small block farmers who sells his coffee parchments to Las Malo to process. Ila said in a week he brings 5 to 10 bags of coffee to the factory to process his coffee parchments, which he then sells to the exporters in Goroka.
Me cutting grass, planting coffee, na me picking last block coffee straight, me kisim kam, me apim putim lo soldat lo me kisim, me kam lo as lo machine, me tanning coffee, okay, me kisim gen go putim, me sleep one night, okay, mixing lo wara, me go washing coffee lo me kam putim lo sun, me dry no sell, na I'm dry, me stop some 3 days, 4 days, me dry no coffee lo me I'm dry go through, okay, me pack him lo back, na me like 5 pla back or 10 pla back, mixing 10 pla back.
Las Malo Coffee Factory was granted license by the Coffee Industry Corporation in 2018 to operate. The owner said the coffee business is helping a lot of the coffee farmers and suppliers.
Time you talk lo coffee, I'm legally magi lo house line to get money. So me like to thank you lo Gaman lo James Marape na Sam Basil where only can support him or legally money inside lo house line na. Give him money, go CIC, or helping me plan, or legally line inside the house line.
Eastern Highlands is one of the leading coffee growing provinces in the country. As a local coffee factory operator, Ken Dumundi says, while there's a lot of smallholder coffee farmers and suppliers bringing their coffee to sell and process, one of the major challenges is the bad roads. Julie Badui, Owa, National EMTV News, Goroka.
And now looking at the NESFund market report, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market this morning. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina will buy $0.2775 $0.3531 Australian dollars, $0.3816 New Zealand dollars, and 29.72 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee and cocoa closed higher, copra closed lower. Palm oil and copper closed higher, crude oil is trading lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is also trading higher.
True Kai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The SP-PNG Hunters have been forced into making 2 more changes to their side for their Round 10 clash against second-placed North's Devils this Saturday. Being one of the Intrust Super Cup's least experienced teams in this season's competition has certainly played its part in the side's deep in form lately as the Hunters struggle to cope with the week-to-week pressure and consistency from opposition teams.
Injury woes continue to plague the Hunters as they set their sights towards their Round 10 clash against the in-form Notts Devils at Bishop Park this Saturday. The Hunters will have their backs against the wall when they face the second-place Devils, who are coming off a dominating performance in last weekend's dismantling of Tweed Seagulls, winning the match 40 points to 12. Given the current disappointing form of the Hunters, the team will definitely have their hands full this weekend against the Brisbane Broncos-affiliated team with a host of NRL experienced players such as Tyrone Roberts, Danny Levy, and Lavaha Pulu. The Hunters, on the other hand, will be without the likes of experienced players such as Terry Wapi, who aggravated his knee injury in last weekend's loss to the Townsville Blackhawks. Another casualty from last weekend is Edwin Ipape, who sustained a shoulder injury and will be sidelined for several weeks, with Charlie Simon called back into the side to partner veteran Aseboas in the halves. Norman Brown reverts from the wing to fullback, where he has deputized for Wapi this season, with Solo Wayne promoted to the wing. Huxley Lovai, Trukai Sports.
That story wraps up Trukai Sports, the weather report after these messages. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports. This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region: Port Moresby and Kerama, mostly fine. Daru, partly cloudy with few showers. Alotau, partly cloudy with brief showers. Popondetta, partly cloudy with few showers. To the Momase region, Vanimo, cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms. Wewak, cloudy with some showers and thunderstorms. Medang, partly cloudy. Lae, partly cloudy periods. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms. Kavieng, partly cloudy periods. Kokopo, Rabaul and Buka, mostly fine. Kimbe, partly cloudy with few showers. To the Highlands region, all centers to be cloudy with few showers. Forecasts for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait to Daru to Kiwai Islands, to Kerama to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samarai Islands, with waters of Samarai Islands to Cape Vogel and eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, and with waters of New Island to New Britain and Bougainville, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters of north of Cape Vogel to Huon Gulf to Finschhafen, seas 0.5 to 1 meter. Waters of Finschhafen through VT's Dampier Straits to Siasi Long Island, seas 1 to 1.5 meters. Waters north of Long Island to Medang to Wewak to Aitape to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, seas 1 to 2 meters. Ocean forecasts for PNG areas in the coral seas: seas moderate to rather rough with northeast to southeast winds of 15 to 24 knots, gusting to 25 to 33 knots. In the Solomon Seas, seas slight to moderate with easterly winds of 10 to 20 knots. To the Bismarck Seas, seas moderate with east to southeast winds of 15 to 20 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas moderate with easterly to southeast winds of 15 to 20 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for Friday, the 11th of June 2021. Pleasant viewing, be safe, bye for now.